Hello everyone and welcome back to another Minecraft video. Today I'm going to be showing you a 6x6 elevator that's realistic. So 6x6 realistic elevator. You can have as many floors as you want as long as you build out the redstone design. It fits within this area, but obviously the more floors you have, the more lines you have to have going up and down and the more space it takes up. So I'm going to show you all of the redstone, try to explain how it works, and also show you how it works, like just in action. So we have an indicator as to which floor the elevator is on. So if it's on floor 1, then this lamp would be on. Floor 2, this lamp's on. Floor 3, this one's on. And that's on every floor. The floor that the elevator is currently on, or the floor that you're on, is marked in red on the sign. And yeah, these lamps update and are accurate for all levels. These buttons are the call buttons, so let's say your friend was at your base and he took your elevator up to floor 2, but you logged out on floor 1 and you came back and the elevator's closed. Well, you can call floor 2 to come down. Now you have to be careful because there is no spam protection on these buttons, so if you have a friend that likes to spam, maybe don't build this. But otherwise, you wait for that to happen and the indicator updates and the elevator comes to you. So the way that this works is that the elevator comes to the floor, the doors open, and the reason why we're sitting in minecarts, why we're even here, is because minecarts are tracked by the server, meaning that the blocks are updated and move the minecart accurately without the client getting in the way. Alright, let's test it out. It looks like the elevator doors don't close, but they do. It just takes them a little while. The elevator stays perfectly timed and stops on the next floor. The elevator unfortunately cannot skip floors, so you have to go on each floor, but that's not that much of an inconvenience because then you can just hit the button once the door is done opening and just continue going up or down. And after some time, the doors will open up and you can walk out on your floor. Okay, that's enough showing of how the elevator works. Now let's look at the redstone. So there are 3 levels, and each level has to interact with one another, but let's just start with 1. So the first level, the button that tells it to go down a floor will activate this pink line, which extends these pistons, which starts the flying machines to go down, and then the top also goes down, but since this is the highest level, there just needs to be movable objects here. So these actually these are the only ones that need to work because these double piston extenders just fire this observer. In fact, they don't even need to be double piston extenders. I just built them like this for consistency because down here, if there's a piston in the wall, the slime and honey is going to stick to it, and then the flying machine will stop. Which is actually what I used to stop the flying machines on each level, but we'll get to that later. The pattern is actually quite unique. If we look through here, you can see that it's kind of a like thumb. Speaking of which, like the video. Shameless self-promotion. And then the other part is an L shape. And the reason they're configured like this is because both of these different segments, well, number 1, there's 5 honey blocks and 5 blocks it has to push. So that's 10 blocks that's within the push limit. But the second thing is that both the slime and the honey are both next to each other, which means that when these blocks get pushed out, the slime and honey stick to the blocks and stop the machine because they can't push all of these blocks in the walls. So the machine stops, and that's why it's able to stop on the floor without moving up and crashing into the roof. The way that the elevator goes up is that it powers these pistons, which would move all of the segments up, so that way these slime blocks, this piston doesn't have to push more than 12 blocks. And then it does that, so these top pistons push, and then the bottom piston pushes, and the machine flies up. The other parts of this machine are the 6x6 door, which is out here. I managed to squeeze this one down, so this is if you've seen the 255 door video, you will recognize this observer pattern, especially if you've downloaded the world, and the 2-tick adding repeaters. And the way that works is the signal gets longer as the observers get shorter. That way, by the time that the observers get to this point, they're all lined up neatly in a row, which powers all the machines at once, causing the door to work at once. And then these stuck to the machine are also important, because these observers, when the door moves forward, then these observers will also move forward to this point, where it will power the machine to make it go backwards when it gets to that point. Alright, and then the last couple of things, these floor buttons are dictated by these cauldrons and these lines, which get their inputs from the elevator's cauldron. So every elevator, each part, the top and the bottom, have a cauldron, which I'm inside of right now, this cauldron, and that's how the system is able to detect where the elevator is, on what floor. And using the new Redstone in 1.16, this is the snapshot I'm in if you're curious, and I will update the download over time. So eventually when 1.16 comes out, I'll update the download, but for right now, there will be a world download in the description, by the way. For right now, if you want to go on the world download, it'll be on this version, and I'll change the world download file to have the version next to it as it comes out. But the way it works is it uses this new wall mechanic, where the walls instantly power down, and an observer detects that at the bottom. So I'm using that mechanic, as well as slime, and pistons and redstone, as well as the leaf block and wood mechanic. And there's the walls again. Leaf block and wood mechanic to travel up. And if you wanted to, you could also build this out of leaves and wood, but it's more convenient to build it out of slime. You can choose either one, so I built both. And as I said earlier, yeah, the more floors you have, the more connections you need, and the bigger space you'd need for all of these different arrays. Alright, so now that we're done our look at the redstone, once again, a world download will be in the description, just in case you want to build this. As you can see, it fits into this tiny area, considering how it functions. It fits into a small area. It's only a couple of blocks wider, and then here it's a bunch wider because of this door, which has to stick out. And before I actually added an area, which I might remove in the world download, but maybe not, the observers used to stick out, but then to save space I folded them in. So they go in, and then they go out again. So yeah. That's all for this video. Thank you for watching. World download in the description. Please check it out. It's cool. This is an amazing elevator. And I encourage you to build it in your base as long as your friend isn't spam happy with the button. So yeah, that's it. This has been Sword. Goodbye.